Well, I'm here in the office with Claire and Peter Charles. And Claire, Peter, thank you so much for making the effort to come across to the office. Well, we're here in Champlain at our office, and Claire and Peter, they don't live too far from here. We're very near to St. Joseph Parish. And, you know, it's so exciting when you can have a couple like Claire and Peter come across and chat with us, because so often we believe that these people have been working in the church forever. They're household names, especially for those of us who have done marriage preparation and who are involved in family life ministry. You say Claire and Peter Charles, and it's like Batman and Robin. Yes. You know. And so welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So often we look at couples like Claire and Peter and we say, well, you know, there's Claire and Peter, there's this couple, and then there's the rest of us regulars, but these are the people who do all this work in the church. And sometimes it's good to get a glimpse of their life and to understand what happens in their life, because Pope Benedict said, the closer you get to Christ, the closer you get to his cross. You know, and it's such a true saying. So welcome again.
Yes,
and
thank you very much.
I would just like to start
Yeah.
with tell me a little bit about when you started the ministry and what drove you to work with the church.
Well, when we were 10 years married, there was something missing. Peter and I, we love helping. We love to lend a helping hand wherever we can, you know. And we found that we were doing that with our children's friends, their parents, and so on. And then Father called us.
I think it's Father Curtin.
Father Curtin called us and asked if we would like to start a pre-marriage, preparation of marriage group. And of course, Peter said, well, Father, I am so busy that I really can't join any groups in the church right now, because, I mean, he was in the height of his
I had just begun
of his career,
just
you know, in
started
Trinidad.
my own business, yes.
You know?
And Father
So-
Curtin's answer I always remember.
Yes.
He says, if you want to get something done, ask a busy man.
So true, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that convinced me, because I really felt that I was too busy to get involved in anything else. And Father Curtin was instrumental in getting me started in marriage preparation group.
So you all have been working with marriage preparation for
It's now 38 years.
38 years.
Yes.
What has the journey been like for you as a family person, and what has the journey been like for you with?
It was very hectic because we have 5 children,
Okay.
and meeting their needs and the needs of the family, and then our jobs. You know, I was a teacher, and of course, well, Peter was in graphic arts. And, you know, it was, you know, looking over the years now, we wonder, how did we do it? How did we do it? And, you know, Sandy, when you think back of those years, I know that we did it because we prayed together.
Yes.
Prayer was very, very important in our lives. Even from when we were courting, prayer was
Where did
always.
that come from? Where did that journey, that understanding that I need to pray, or we need to pray together as a couple, where did you get it from? What was the genesis of that? Where did you learn that?
I think from childhood.
From childhood.
I think so. I think our upbringing, my family home, my mother and father, it was a small family, mother, father, sister, brother, sister and myself, just 4 of us. I think my parents were very dedicated to the church. My father was always very active in the Holy Name, in the Legion of Mary.
Did you
Yes.
ever, in your Christian journey,
Yes.
experience a prodigal, the prodigal son story?
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Yes, yes, we did.
Well, when we first got married, I think it was difficult for us because we had a child in the first year of marriage, and I think we didn't agree too much with the church's position on family planning, as it were. So we lived abroad. We lived in London, and you live in a city that's I would say more secular than religious, and the done thing was the pill and whatever else that the medical sciences had to say about family planning and birth control. So we never really followed the church's position on that. We tried everything. We tried the pill at one time, then Claire came off the pill. We tried condoms. We tried, what's that other thing that was very, very artificial?
IUD?
The IUD,
Mhm.
one of the IUDs.
No, we didn't use IUDs. It's not IUD, Claire. It's the
Whatever, but
Yes.
it was
Mm.
it was,
It was the IUD. You get a doctor to insert it.
Insert, yes.
And this is not the IUD.
Yes,
I
this
can't
is
remember what
where-
it was.
yes.
But to give an explanation of it, it looked like a large condom,
mm,
and it is a reusable thing. And you have to use spermicides and so
gels
on,
and
and
so on.
gels to make sure.
and
that
a lot
the
of very
birds-
foreign
Yes,
things in your
yes,
body.
yes,
So
yes.
so you
Very
experienced.
artificial.
Mhm.
So we experienced that kind of growth in our early
In our early marriage.
Marriage.
Yes.
and because of that we stayed away from the sacraments a bit.
Mhm.
The thing about it is we had made up our mind that we would never miss a mass.
Yes.
And although we had no parents to direct us, we never missed mass. I think it was once, and that's because Corpus Christi in England
not
is
a
a working
holiday.
day. It's not a holiday. And Claire came to see me that evening, and I said, Claire, today is Corpus Christi, and we should get to mass. And we jumped on the scooter.
Yes.
We went.
You went
I
to
used to have a
mass.
scooter in those days. When we got there, everybody was leaving the church. It was over.
Mhm.
But Claire had school. I think I had school that
Yeah.
day. So we went to school, both of us.
Mm.
And you never know. It's a holiday
It's
of
a- it's a
obligation
regular
and
day,
so on.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
only time that I could
Yeah.
ever remember that we missed a mass.
Mhm.
But later on, and because of that, we held to our faith, And later on, when we joined the marriage preparation program, we came across, even before
No, before
him,
that, because I was
before
pregnant
him.
with my last baby, Adrian.
Before that, we tried.
And,
We tried.
We found the Billings while I was pregnant.
I know,
Okay.
but even before
Yeah,
that, we
yes.
tried.
Now, we might be wondering, but Claire and Peter are very involved in pre-marriage preparation.
And the Billings
And
method.
the Billings method. So that's what they do, and so the journey
Yes,
is
it
the
started
journey to
from
there.
there,
It was
yes.
it started with the search, yes,
With the search, I
yes,
would
with the
say,
search
yes.
for where you can,
Where you can, yes.
yeah,
And
where
when
you-
we found the Billings, we already had 5 children.
Mm.
So we needed to have confidence in that method because I felt that Claire was so fertile that
I
Yes.
become pregnant every Monday morning.
yes,
in spite of everything we tried, we had 5 children.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
So we had to develop a confidence in it. And then having done that, we had learned the method so well that we wanted to share it with the world.
Everybody.
Okay.
And then we met
Yes.
Dr.
Dr.
Clark.
and we
And he-
continued from there.
Yeah, and
When
he
Dr.
taught us
Billings
and-
came to Trinidad and
yeah.
we did
We
their...
were
And so-
certified as
Yes.
teachers and
So we
And
went
so-
on from there.
And so from there you've been
Yes,
working
right.
and working with the church.
Yes,
But then
with
you
the
also had
church.
your own families to look
Yes,
after.
yes.
Yes.
And in the early days of teaching Billings, we traveled all over Trinidad.
Mm.
And we took our children with us. We went to Mayaro, we went to Toco, we went Cedras, all those places, and we made it a weekend, holiday weekend for the children as well.
Mhm,
You know, in us going out to teach the Billings method
And you've been doing that for 35 years.
for 39 years.
39
in
years.
Billings,
Yes, 39
and
years.
38
yeah.
years in pre-marriage.
Yes, and that's amazing. But what has, I know you've been having some health problems
Oh, yes.
as well lately. Would you want to do you? Would you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it first started with me. I had open heart surgery 5 years ago.
Mm.
And I didn't think that something like that would ever happen to me. But again, prayer is what you need in your life. And we pray the rosary or every day, as much as possible, we pray the rosary. Make sure we try to every day. And I think what is really with us and behind us in our prayer life as it is now, Peter's uncle, who is Emeritus Bishop Sidney Charles of Grenada, he is such an inspiration to us. You know, such an inspiration, and the way we speak with him, we talk about prayer, we talk about life, we talk about what we can do, how we can help, and you know, and he has brought us along on this journey. He has always been on a journey, in this journey with us, in doing whatever we do for people and for praying and our family, bringing up our children and so on. Viewers out there, don't feel that we don't have problems. We have problems. It's like any other couple, but as I say that it's how you deal with the problem. You know, sometimes you want to throw your hands up and say, well, I can't go on anymore. But the Lord is always there. Mary is always there. It is, you know, prayer is such a something in your life where if you live that prayerful life, you will find that nothing is too much, or no mountain is too high that you cannot cross. Once you have Jesus with you, once you can call on him. And it is not magic. Things doesn't happen because you pray, it's magic. You know, sometimes you pray and it doesn't happen, but your faith is there, that you believe that all things are possible with God. And my journey and my upbringing, as I got all this through the nuns. I went to brought up in the convent actually, but because of the nuns and their teachings and their values and so on, I am the person I am today because
Praise
of them.
God. But Peter, I want to talk a little bit about your story, because you're an artist, yes? And you have quite a history as an artist. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh boy. My life as an artist? Well, my life as an artist was really as a commercial artist rather than as a fine artist. That decision was taken because I studied art years and years ago, when I think fine art wasn't even something considered in this country. I didn't think you could make a living as a fine artist in those days. So when I went to study, I studied graphics and advertising. So I worked in advertising for most of my life. It's a very demanding profession, absolutely demanding, because you know, clients want their things done now, and it's like yesterday. That's the term they use.
Yes, sir, yes.
They want it like yesterday. So I had spent a lot of my life working. Claire can tell you, 2 o'clock in the morning is not unusual.
Unusual.
I would come home at 2. Until one day my children said to me, "Hello, stranger." And I saw that Claire had told them something. I said, "Claire, you told them to say this." But they were not seeing me, you see, because when they go to sleep in the night, I hadn't been home as yet. And then they get up and they go to work in the morning. They go to school, I go to work, and we don't see each other. So sometimes days would pass and I didn't see my children. And then one day they approached me, my first 2 children, and they said, "Hello, stranger." I said, "Claire, you taught them that." And Claire saw I didn't tell them a word. But they hadn't been seeing me, you know. But it's a demanding job. And it took a lot out of me. I don't think if I had to do it again, that's really a good profession to be in. It was too difficult.
But Sandy,
you don't have much family life when you're in advertising.
Yes, but I would tell you, our love for art, we developed that love for art when we were in London. I did art as well in London.
I didn't know that.
Yes, dance, music and art, you know. And I think because of that, we are so compatible with one another, because I loved what he loved. You know, we love art, he loves art. So we would get on our scooter and visit all the art galleries. We go to Paris, we go to the Louvre, we go, you know, it is that love that as I say, we were compatible in that area. We love to read books, we read together.
Okay.
You know, and this is what brought us on, that we are so close that you can't see Peter without seeing Claire.
Yes. And you know, this is where we come to the part of the interview that I've been dying to get to, because we have a painting here, and I don't know if the camera can close up on the painting a little bit. And this painting is Our Lady on Door of Knots. And Peter is the artist. Yes.
Yes.
Peter, I know that this painting, I know both of you, Peter and Claire, this painting comes with a big story. Now, I don't know how many of us know the novena, Our Lady on Door of Knots, and it's the novena that Pope Francis says, and when he was in Argentina, he used to promote quite a bit
Promote that,
as well. But I know there's a whole story around Our Lady on Door of Knots and your painting of this, and I would love for us to hear it.
Well, I first heard of it from a friend from Chaguanas, but I paid no attention to it until one day I was listening to the Trinity program, and I heard it mentioned. And for some reason, I decided to research it on the internet. And in researching it on the internet, I've read that Pope Francis had set up a devotion long before he became Pope in Argentina. So I see what something must be in this. And what started the devotion was an icon that he had seen from
Russia.
yeah, way back, a few hundred years back. And it kind of inspired me that if an icon could spark this much devotion, shouldn't I devote some time to doing a painting of it? And I had a small picture of it on the internet, not great deal of detail, but I decided to try my hand anyway. I hadn't been painting very often.
When was the
since
last
I
time you
retired.
painted?
Ooh, long time ago, maybe years.
Some years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes. So I decided to try my hand. I had a piece of canvas. It was already primed and so on. So I decided, let me try it. And I started. And Claire was with me, and she was really instrumental in pushing me forward. And saying, go ahead, ask Our Lady to undo some knots in your life. And of course, at that time, I had some serious financial knots because I was going through dialysis, and the government was giving me a grant, but a lot of the time the grant was late, and you had to find a lot of money per week, So I say that's one of the knots that I would like to
And I remember Claire said, what did you tell him?
I told him, I said, Peter, every brush stroke you make, please ask Mary to undo a knot for you. Put your brush strokes down, and everyone you say, ask Mary, please undo the knot that you would like her to undo for you. And he did that.
Yeah, during that time I spoke to someone who had received free dialysis in Chaguanas, and he mentioned to me, why don't you try the ministry? And because he just tried and he got through, so I decided.
So he called the ministry.
And this is while you were painting?
Yes.
Yes. I had started the painting already. I had started actually praying to Mary to undo some knots, as Claire had suggested. And he mentioned to me that he simply called them and they sent him to Chaguanas. I said, well, great. Maybe.
So he called the ministry as well.
Maybe I could call them and ask them to send me to Chaguanas too. So I did. And they said, why don't you write us a letter? I say, years ago you had approved a free dialysis for me, but I couldn't accept it for several reasons. One, I was sent to community, and community was not ready to.
Yes.
They weren't ready at the time. And they called me back within a month and said, we can put you on the 4th shift or something like this at 6 o'clock in the evening. But I couldn't accept that because I couldn't drive that hour and come back late in the night. So I had to remain on the grant, which was half payment. And I did that for over a year. Yeah. I was 2 years.
2 years on dialysis,
at the time.
1 year we paid fully,
Yeah.
and the other year we got a grant.
We got a grant. Well, the first year when we paid fully, we had to do many, fundraisers.
Yes.
To raise the funds.
That must have been very difficult.
It
Yeah.
was difficult. And
But it
I
was
must
done
say,
then.
I have to thank all my family and all my friends.
Okay,
and
we had a lot of
yes,
friends, a lot of support.
A lot of support.
A lot of people came
Yes.
forward and helped.
Mhm.
A lot of friends. People are more generous than you can
Than
believe.
you can imagine,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, the whole
But
thing
he
is
called-
that
he
I
called
decided
the-
to
yes,
call
he
the
called the
ministry. I
ministry.
called them and they say, write us a letter.
And
I
then
wrote
we
a
wrote a
letter
letter,
immediately and I
and
gave
then-
it to my son and daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law to
They
take
took
it into the
I think
Ministry
the
of
same
Health.
day.
They
And by
called.
the following morning, they called me and said, how would you like to go to Freeport? I say, but I asked you to go to Chaguanas. And they say, no, go to Freeport. There's a space there. And I went.
Yes. You
And,
say, thank you, Mary.
And that was within
within 3 days of him asking Mary
Yeah.
to undo that knot for him.
Yeah. I had just started the
Yes,
painting.
he just
actually.
started the
Yeah.
painting. But I sat with him all through the painting, and I
Yeah.
saw this painting unfold
Yeah.
before my eyes. It was such a beautiful thing. It was an emotional time for us to see Mary appear on this canvas.
and
It
the,
was so
the hands of
beautiful,
Mary.
yes.
There's a story.
The hands of Mary are my hands.
Yeah.
Peter can explain you that.
Well, the picture on the internet that I used, I didn't get enough detail of the hands, and so I had to ask Claire to pose.
So the hands here.
Yes, the Claire's hands, really.
Yes.
Yes, so you get information, and the information was small. In fact, I didn't even have a picture this size to see. And looking on a computer screen is not the ideal thing. you know.
Yes. Yes.
But when the painting was completed, my eldest son, he was here in Trinidad at the time, and he said, Daddy, how many grandchildren do you have? And we say, we have 11. He said, you painted 11 cherubs
Oh yes.
on the painting. It's 11 faces
11.
there.
11.
Yes.
And do you know that this does not have 11, huh? So that is, I know. So it's amazing that, that you would
Yes,
decide
yes,
to do
yes.
that. Yes, yes.
As you will see, it's not
Yes.
copied exactly.
No, well, it's your
Yes.
interpretation of it,
That's
and
right.
it's an
Yes.
amazing painting.
But she did so many things for us in
Uh-huh.
our lives since we, are now devoted.
Yeah.
And, of course, as I say to the viewers, we all have our problems. We have our family problems. We have our children growing up. They have problems, and of course, we have been asking Mary to undo a lot of knots in their lives and in our lives. And it's been happening.
And it's been happening.
It's been
yes.
happening,
Yes.
and we are so happy, and she has made us so happy and so comfortable now that, all the stress and everything has just gone from us, but, believe me, I was telling a friend yesterday, I said, when you reach our age, you learn to let go of things and don't let little things bother you in your marriage. She was giving me a story about her husband not putting the chair when he gets up from the table to move. I said, don't worry about that. That is it's not important. So I told him, I said, you leave the chair where you want to leave the chair. That's your chair. Little things like that.
Yeah, it starts.
It's time to let go. Just time to let go of these
I think
things
you
that
learn
can upset,
that when you reach our age
Yes,
and you're
yes.
not too well
and you're
as
not
we
too
are.
well,
You realize that there are things that are
That are more important,
important,
that are
yes,
much,
yes,
much
yes,
more
more
important than where the
yes,
chair is left.
yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
and in family life, the small things can create big problems. You wouldn't believe. Just seeing the chair out of place and making a big fuss about that can create an argument between husband and wife.
But
You know that.
when you do that, I have found it's because there's something a lot deeper. There's something else
Yes,
that's
yes,
really
really, yes.
digging
Not
you.
the chair.
Yes,
You
and
think so,
the
but in
chair
that
is at
particular couple, it is the chair.
Because she hugged him after and kissed him and said, I wouldn't, you leave the chair there,
yeah, and it's so true,
Yes. But life is so beautiful, Sandy.
Yes.
Life is so beautiful. All you just have to do is to look back on your years. You love your children, you love your grandchildren, and you love people. As you say, you see Christ in everyone. You see Christ in everyone. The world has become very beautiful for Peter and myself. We try to eradicate all the negatives and everything from our lives. And I love to help couples. I just recently, there was a couple we helped. They couldn't become pregnant for quite some time, and my daughter-in-law sent them to us. And they came, and I taught them the billings, and I worked with them. And just 2 weeks ago, she told me that they now have a baby
Praise God.
boy.
Wow.
And this is it's so great for us when we hear things like that. And we want to we want the world to be so nice. We want Trinidad and Tobago to be so peaceful and to be so nice. And it can be.
Yes.
Oh, you young couples out there, please, you can be married and you can be loving. And you will have your ups and downs, but you can deal with it. Call on Mary. Not only Mary and do of nuts, but call on Mary. Pray the rosary. Pray the rosary. Ask for what you want, and you will receive.
Yes. And this is what's so beautiful about Claire and Peter, because so often, we go to the same parish. We all belong to St. Joseph, which incidentally is 200 years this year, so you're going to be hearing a lot more of that, but they always are so upbeat, and they always so well put together, always looking together, and yet so much as a couple, if we journeyed with them, so much has happened in their life, and they've had so many challenges, especially within recent years, and with their health, and yet they've always had time for other people, and they've always been there for so many of us in the church, and now this other gift to our church, because Peter, I'm sure you're not going to just keep this painting all to yourself.
No. We have an intention to print as many copies as possible, because several people have asked us for copies of it, and that's where we are at the moment. We're investigating what it would cost to print and how many we should print, etc. This is where we're at, and of course I would like to give it out to as many people as possible.
So this is our Trinidad version of Our Lady on Dew of Nuts, and it really, 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 I don't know how close our camera is getting to it, but it really is an amazing, and she has a Caribbean face, definitely, and the most beautiful expression, beautiful expression, and the little cherubs are just absolutely adorable. It is really a beautiful, beautiful painting, and so Peter, we really do look forward to getting some of those prints. I definitely would like to put my order in for one of those prints, and thank you.
Print 3 different sizes. I'd like to take one of the prayers in that book and print it at the back of a 5x7.
Yes, because there is a prayer, the prayer here, because
picture on one side and the prayer on the other.
And the other side.
And then we'll print some larger ones, 8x10s and.
So you're going to have to let us know when those become available.
We're investigating that right now.
So
The stage is to get a professional photographer to take a proper shot of it, proper picture, because that's where it starts.
Yes.
Has to be a good picture. It has to be
so the prints can be,
as close to the original as possible, so that the prints would have the same balance of color and everything.
Well, just one, where to from here? We're just about to end the interview. Where to from here? What's your journey? Where is your journey going to take you now?
Well, we are at the end of our journey.
I hardly think so.
We're still involved in marriage preparation, but we almost
retired gradually. Yes.
We're not fully retired out of it.
I always remember when the vice principal of St. Mary's was retiring, Mr. Pear, he said, so the boys asked him, so what are you going to do now, Mr. Pear? And he says, well, now that I've retired, I'm going to move on to greater things. And it's so true, because I'm sure both of you will be moving on to greater things. And, and this painting is really, really amazing. If I would be very excited to have a copy of this myself, and I'm sure many of our viewers as well. So we're going to know when it's available.
Peter, I try for Peter not to keep his talent to himself. So anyone needing help in art, and they're sitting exams, or they want to have a little, do something with him for Peter to show them, train them, we're always willing.
We have always done that
over the years.
That's
students
beautiful.
from all over. They would come and they would sit with Peter. He would work with them. I think that's where we are going.
Okay, so there we are. So they're wondering, we're wondering if they're retiring. They're not at all. So Peter and Claire, thank you so very, very much. And we really look forward to getting prints of that. Thank you so much for that amazing story, that amazing miracle that took place in your life with this. And God bless you.
Oh, thank you very much, Sandy.